Hey everybody, it's Andy Knode, and I just got back from watching Power Rangers, the movie. That's right, I am not afraid to admit it. Although when I was 12 and watching the show, I was very much afraid to admit it. I think I was just a little bit too old to be watching Power Rangers, and my older brother was definitely too old to be watching Power Rangers. But it seemed like every time that it came on TV, we neither one of us wanted to admit to the other one that we liked it. It would come on after a particular show on Saturday mornings or afternoons, and neither one of us wanted to reach for the remote. And we went on like that for years, and then we would casually go down stairs into our basement where we played a lot and would play or act out Power Rangers in a making fun of sort of way. And it wasn't until years later that we kind of admitted to each other that we did, in fact, both enjoy the show and certainly couldn't admit it at school and middle school. So when this movie came out, as an adult, that now I can admit that I enjoy the Power Rangers, I had mixed feelings about it. With any movie that they reboot or reinvent for the modern audiences, it always seems like they try too hard, and it either misses the mark entirely, or what commonly is the issue that it's an entertaining movie but has nothing to do with the original subject matter. And I knew that this one was going to be a challenge because the show is, the original Power Rangers show did not age well. I mean, it is very 90s and very early 90s. As I began to see more about it and more trailers, it started to become appealing. It started to become like, this could be a decent movie. So I went to see it. I called up my brother, who is a over-the-road trucker, and he happened to be in town this weekend, and I said, Josh, we got to go see it, because this was something that we never fully admitted to each other that we enjoyed. So now it was time to bury the hatchet and embrace ourselves as true Power Ranger fans and go see the movie. And we saw a matinee on Sunday, and it was fantastic. It was everything I wanted it to be without knowing what I wanted it to be. It offered enough fan service to us as my generation who grew up on the show to serve us well and make us remember the nostalgia of the show. But then there was enough updated of it for the new fans and the new generation. Somehow they were able to capture the magic of the show. I mean, the show never really took itself seriously, at least the way that I took it. And this movie captured that. It also did not take itself incredibly serious. It knew that it was a little silly, a little ridiculous. I feel like it was the perfect balance between what it needed to be for the modern audience and what it needed to be for the older audience that remembers the show. Even at one point, they had the theme song. Unapologetically put the theme song right in the middle of the movie and didn't mask it or hide it under a bunch of orchestrations. They just plopped it right there in the middle of the movie, and it was a great moment. There was a great reaction from the audience in the theater. I hope that it does well and it sends a message to Hollywood that people of my generation that have a certain nostalgia or a certain attachment to shows that we grew up on will pay money to see remakes that are true to the original form. I think that there's a fear in Hollywood that my generation won't come out and support entertainment that is a reboot of shows and movies that we grew up on, or that they just don't think that it'll play to modern audiences. And obviously I can only speak from my own perspective, but this movie, I feel like, captured that magic in a perfect balance. There was enough of the old and enough of the new that it meshed together really well. So to sum it all up, it's a fun movie. If you're like me that grew up on the Power Rangers, whether you were a little bit too old or not, it's a good way to spend a couple hours at the theater. And if you're like me, I think that you'll leave the theater having positive feelings and memories of what it was about the show that made you like it, even if you didn't want to admit it. So that's my take. That's my review on the movie. If you agree with me or disagree with me, then let me know in the comments below. So that's all I have for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. right here.